Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? What up, what up? It's your girl, Miss DJ Hoodie, getting at you guys on this Twitter X Spaces live for the White Run podcast. And we got Just Rob in the chat. Hey, babe. So sorry I can't do like my normal intro because first of all, this is live on Twitter Spaces and I don't quite have I don't have notes. This is just something that that just caught my attention from all different ways, different things, different entities, different scenarios, and I'm gonna just be real, like I feel completely thrown off, and that is what this Spaces is about. The title of this Spaces is We Are All Being Distracted. Hell fucking yeah. Everything from like spirituality and modern, everything is just distracting all of us. And I think most of us, we are hella confused as far as like, oh, this is just life. That's a distraction. Things happen. That's a distraction. We just gotta solve the problem. That's a distraction. We just gotta brainstorm and figure out everything. That's a distraction. And down to like, you guys already know. Like, if you guys have been listening to the Y Run, you guys know that I have health issues, right? Been having health issues for like a long time. Let me just give you a little short history. I've always had heat strokes as a kid, so you can imagine what that does to a child's brain, right? I've been neglected as a child, and I've been very vocal about it with my parents. They know we fixed it. We're still a family. I love them. They love me. But there is some trauma there. And then I've been shot with a paintball gun and, in my legs. And that's created, let's say, blood clots. Even though people say, like, oh, that's not how you get... Well, that's what happened, okay? Like, it popped my fucking veins in my legs, all right? Never drink water as a kid. There's just things. Now it's like... I very seldomly now, I hardly throw up every morning, which I'm very, very thankful for. But one of the things that I think is a distraction, because I'm going to look at things from like all different sides. The whole thing about, oh, we're just getting old, and that just comes along with getting old, and our eyesight starts to go, we just get weaker, we're tired more, we got a nap in our fucking 40s. We get, I don't know about you guys, but I get like muscle cramps and, just shit's wrong. Okay, when I wake up and like sit up from the bed, and when I'm dragging my feet into the bathroom to take a piss, like that, like I'm hurting. Okay, like I'm hurting from trying to prevent myself from getting cramps. and I'm hunched over walking to the bathroom because my back fucking hurts, because I do deliveries, and I took a chance and delivered like a fucking 32 fucking case of water, or like a heavy box, or and my back hurts, like I don't exercise my back the way that I should, or I just forget to do stretches before I go to bed. Like, my point of all of this is that all of that shit is distracting. Like, yes, I could get into like the modern and the spiritual side of things, as far as like, like doing spiritual works. We feel tip top in our minds, in our mindset, and the way that we think, and the way that we problem solve, and the way we figure things out, to the things that we see, and the entities that tell us things. But if we were to like keep it like one-sided, right, because most of the world is one-sided, it's all modern things, and these modern things, like everything, it is a distraction. So take our health for example, like what I was just sharing with you guys. It is a distraction, because sometimes, like, when I sit and lay in the bed, I could be playing cats, like playing games, or just listening to a YouTube video while I'm painting, or shuffling cards, or playing solitaire, just having a moment, like, to just take a break from whatever the fuck I was doing, whatever running around I'm doing in my head, but not actively like really doing anything. I think, like, oh, when if this thing like happens to me, like, let's say one of these blood clots makes its way into my heart, and I have a fucking heart attack, like, and I'm thinking, like, okay, if I have a heart attack, there's a slight chance that I may not make it, but let's just say that I make it, right? So it's almost like, can you or can I deal with the pain, or the troubles, or the, you know what I mean? And when I think like that, like, I'm just, you start to pick and choose. Like, you have to think the worst, right? Like, you have to think the worst to pick and choose what should be more important, and like what's not, what you should tackle every day, what you shouldn't, what the things that you should be grateful for that you're normally not giving thanks for. Like, you're just, we kind of miss everything. And I know I said this recently, where people, like, they're not appreciative of the things until like they're laying in a hospital bed, like damn near dead. Okay, and that's when they take the time to be like, oh, as soon as I get better, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna start making like a bucket list, and I'm gonna start doing all of those things. And it is that we are distracted from doing those things, that it's like we never really had the time or the thought to get out there and really discover if we really are afraid of heights, because on our bucket list, we want to jump out of a fucking airplane. And it's like, well, do you have the balls, or do I have the balls to do it? Like, am I really that afraid of heights? It's we don't know ourselves like that. Like, yeah, we could have the interest to jump out of a plane, but like, when will we actually have the time to like do that? And like, do we have life insurance to do something like that? Do we have, if God forbid, right, that we have any kind of injury that, will be taken care of. But those things are a distraction for most of us to discover who the fuck we really are. And let me tell you something. I was working at my easel today, thank goodness. I've been wanting to paint for ages, and I was finally able to fucking do that today. But I was listening to a couple YouTube channels, and I could see why, like, even now, especially now, that Just Rob does not like how the Kardashians talk. And I was listening to this YouTuber. I don't know how old she is. She's probably like in her early 20s, and she was just doing that, like, oh my gosh, like, I am like so obsessed. Like, and I'm always like making, like, I have to comment, I have to make some true fucking remark. Like, these bitches need to fucking drink water. Like, they're so fucking dry and trying to talk like so low and like so slow. And oh my god, like, and I'm like, bitch, get through your fucking sentence. And and I get it. Like, sometimes I talk like that because I really do fucking need water. I'm very expressive with my speech. And when I scream and like yell and shout, like, I'm losing my voice. That's what the fuck it is, okay? Like, I'm not trying to sound like a Kardashian or anything. Like, I'm just losing my fucking shit. But like, and just Rob and I, we did an episode about Gen Zs a couple days ago. I'll try to, if I remember, I'll post a link, or maybe just Rob, babe, if you're still listening, and if you have time, snag that link and drop it in the comments, please. Oh man. And I was just thinking, like, I'm listening to this girl talk, and just we're picking on the way that she's talking. Okay, let's just be real. We are picking on her, and we're criticizing the way that she talks. But like, without watching the video, because again, I'm working on my easel, I'm not looking at the screen. I know what this chick looks like. I'm just listening to her, like, how she moves in a work day, because the types of YouTube videos that I watch that I'm interested in is about art, it's about deliveries, it's about managing, or like managing your time, your business, or like, that's what I'm most interested in, because that's my life. Okay, these children are like, they're so monotone. Like, that's what it is, monotoned. They haven't figured out life. They're just seeing what they see on social media, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and they just want that. Like, and there was this, oh my gosh, I really, really love this guy that I discovered. He was talking about a certain YouTuber. I've come across that certain YouTuber about a year ago, and I quit watching her because it just, like, her content was like, oh, look at me, I'm making this much money on YouTube, and I'm only doing this, and if you only do this, you too can make some money. And like, not all of us can do that on YouTube. Let's just be fucking real. Like, not all of us, are we don't want to be a part of that algorithm, right? Like, I think somehow it just knows, because the content that Just Rob and I post on YouTube, we're in the algorithm, but they're just the opposite of what we believe. And I think, or I know that that's controlled. Like, we are talking about highlights, or we are talking about things that are popping this time around, right? Like, like the whole Diddy case, we talked about that, but we're against that shit, right? Like, we're not for the essays and the grapes and the, children being involved. Like, we're against that shit. So, like, we're not gonna get, pushed to the audience. But this guy that I discovered today was talking about that particular YouTube, and he fucking said everything that I've been wanting to say like a year ago. And I think this guy just does commentary on things that are pushed to him. So it's not like he's going out looking for it. He just sees a video, takes a chance, watches it, and then, he kind of gets sucked into the rabbit hole. And then he's like, look, this is my 2 cents. And this is, and he goes into all of that, which is fucking awesome. We need more people like that, right? But going back to that 20-year-old girl, like, people, Gen Z or whoever the fuck, they see something and they want to project that into their lives, onto themselves. They want to be like that. And what has me annoyed, sometimes it has me rolling, when these, people, they want some kind of, they need to have something, and they don't have anything, whether it be a skill or, like something that they don't have, but when they see it, they're like, oh, I could get that easy, or I could get that, like, no problem, or I can have the same setup. It's just gonna take, a few trips to IKEA, and, then I can have this so-called, what I'm saying? So everyone's copy and paste their lives. But what has me rolling is that everybody wants to, like, decorate their homes with plants. Like, all of a sudden, everybody's into plants. Everybody's buying white furniture. Everything's white. Everything is, like, mechanical. Like, everything is electronic. Like, just these cool little gadgets. Like, just to get people, like envying them or wanting what they have. Like, I don't know. Like, it's some kind of, like, aha, I have this and you don't. Or it pisses me off when they're like, oh, this is what I got, and if you want it, research it, or, like, Google it. And it's like, why can't you drop a fucking link, bitch? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, none of these people know who the fuck they are. Like, none of them do. And when they see something, they're just like, oh, I want to do that, or I want to be that, I want to be a part of that. And they go out and they buy the things, and they could have a whole setup, like it's not like a studio, but like a set. And they want to show that without knowing who the fuck they really are. And I've come across a few artists' YouTube channels or videos. A lot of these artists, I have to say that correctly because we got Just Rob up in here. They're closing down their shops, and I want to know why. Okay, so and these are like small channels, and when I say small channels, they got like 13,000 fucking subscribers, and it's like they got all of these subscribers, they got all of this, monetizations. They have like people going to their shops and purchasing things, and all of a sudden they're shutting everything down. They have the equipment to do these things, that has kept their business going, keeping their businesses afloat. But like, I want to know why, bitch, you are choosing to close your shop. Did you discover that this was too much work? Like, yeah, you have machinery doing things, but like, you actually have to pick up a paintbrush. Whether you're picking up a paintbrush or you're picking up a mechanical pen where you can dilly dally, you can draw digital art, and it's just too much. Like, I want to know why you're quitting, like why you're closing your shop, why you don't want to do art anymore. And you already put that part of your life on screen. So all of this personal shit, like, oh, I'm going through personal things. Okay, yeah, I get it. But like, why are you choosing to go back to a corporate job if it's that? And I'm just guessing. But bottom line is, did they just discover themselves that they were just too young to like want to or have to be in business? Okay, so let me tell you, all of these things are distractions. Again, looking at something or someone and being, I want that. I want to be that. I gotta have that. It's just like, oh my gosh. I came across this video. I don't know how it got there because I'm not interested in that. Okay. But I came across a video where a dude lost so much weight by telling and asking AI to create a diet plan. Which, okay, you're using it, it's helpful. Yes, it's a success. You lost weight. But you're telling it things about you, and like, who the fuck are you gonna be now after the weight loss? Like, who are you? And somebody could be like, oh, well, he's a brilliant guy. He was a very smart man that lost weight with the success of AI. Like, he's just a genius that used AI in a way, and that's what makes him, a success. Yes. But again, who the fuck are you after that? And I just think people are so distracted that they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about what's going to happen to them, like, after the fact. And I've been telling people this for years. Fucking find out and discover who the fuck you are. Because, yeah, and I hate now that I always use myself as an example. But in cases like this, I feel like I must. Okay, but like, when I was a child, I've been an artist. Since I was a child, I've been a woodworker. And through my elementary years, I've been an artist. I didn't like being called an artist because I did that shit as a job as a kid. And every time I went to school, I didn't like art class. everybody complimented me that I was the best artist. And I'm like, do not call me that. Because I was already that, like outside of school, and I didn't like it. But, if you guys know my story, I always wanted to be a radio broadcaster, or I wanted to be on the fucking 3 o'clock news, alongside I wanted to be a firefighter, because I got to try on firefighter clothes when I was in first grade, and I was like, I want to be a firefighter. But when I got into third grade and they started allowing children to come up on the mic and read what was for lunch, like, oh, we're having a book drive and all of these other things, but I was scared to death to stand up in front of the class and read something. But I had so much confidence on the intercom. And growing up, I watched Murphy Brown, Fraser, Dr. Fraser Crane, he was on the radio, and Martin Payne from the TV show Martin. Those TV shows were what I wanted to be. And in elementary school, I got to be a DJ. All junior high school, I was a DJ, had a DJ career. But the thing is, I had skill. I had something that not only the skills that I had in case something fell through, but I knew who the fuck I was. And at that point, growing up as a spiritual being that was appointed to do spiritual works for Creator, I knew what I was, and it's more than just knowing dirt or seeing dirt on people and being like, hey, you're disgusting, you're a pervert, you're this and you're that, you need to change your fucking ways, and, all of these things. But I saw the potential in people. If we're not going to talk about the spiritual things, let's talk about the modern shit. I saw that everything around every single person, including myself and my family's lives, everything is a distraction from discovering who the fuck we're all supposed to be. And why are we fighting it so much? Because I always asked myself that growing up. Like, why didn't I want to be an artist? Because I know now. But I barely accepted being an artist a few years ago. I'm like, you know what? I am an artist. I did not look at YouTube and be like, oh my gosh, like now I want to be an artist. Holy shit, I am an artist. No, YouTube didn't tell me that. I didn't go looking for it. I wasn't looking for an identity on YouTube. But everybody these days, I feel like they flood YouTube trying to find themselves. But yes, you can find interest, but like you gotta have the will to do it. But once they find it, they feel like they shouldn't have to invest, they shouldn't have to work hard, all of that. And that is a very poor fucking mindset. To have that you could just pick and choose without actually just sitting with themselves. And, that's where anxiety, separation anxiety, or like depression, like all of these things start arising in them, and they don't know how to deal with it. That's why they freak the fuck out, because they cannot see They don't want to see or feel themselves. They don't want to feel themselves have feelings. And these are the types of people, or kids, or whoever the fuck. They haven't gone through any kind of real trauma. They were just too safe. They were too safe to experience anything. That's why they're like, oh, I have depression. And like, oh my God. That one was for you, babe. But it's sad to see. And hold on just a second. I got a cough. Just Rob's like, yeah, that's what you get. Nah, I'm still gonna put it on you. Don't give me that. You better watch yourself. But that 20-year-old girl, very beautiful, very plain, you can kind of tell, you know what I'm saying? Like she's like some of these kids or people, they kind of present themselves like they're still living in COVID days. Like they don't go outside, they don't do shit, they don't talk to nobody. Their whole getting out there is through other people's YouTube videos of people that actually go out and do shit. No interaction. And if they do have like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or like friends, like they're always saying like, oh, like I was hanging out with my boyfriend. And then there's like a pause, and then they're just like, through video. So like they're not really like hanging out with their partners. It's all through video. So, and I'm looking at this video like, when the fuck was this shit made? Because again, like, was this in 2020, 2021? No. It's like, oh, just posted 2 days ago. And I'm like the only time that they go out, it's so weird how these people make their videos. Like they'll do an outfit of the day, right? Like they'll put on their finest shit, jewelry, makeup, their nails, they can click clack on shit, right? Their little bags, and like, oh, I'm gonna go grocery shopping, like, because I want a salad. I want a chicken Caesar salad. Like, oh my God. And I'm gonna go to Starbucks and just do a little reading. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just is so annoying. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just got so much of other shit to do than reading. But that's just not. I don't do that. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're gonna sit under a fucking tree and fake read for the camera. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it kind of looks like. But they'll do this whole like, oh, outfit of the day, and then they'll show their expensive $21 cup of coffee and like a $72 fucking salad, and then they're secretly trying to like record, and like they're throwing up peace signs and kissy faces to the camera, and they're recording themselves walking from A to B, and it's just, it's all for the camera. But it's like, okay, I'm watching this for a reason. It's almost like, if that's not my thing, why the fuck am I watching? But like, she apparently supposedly does art, and she's into like fiber arts, like crocheting and things like that. She spins her own yarn, and I'm just like, okay, I can't stand her voice. I can't stand her voice. And she taught, she's, I don't understand what their problem is to like getting out there and really discovering who they are. She sounds like a copy and paste from all what she's seen on YouTube. She's distracted. You think you might like something, and yeah, you can like try it and be like, oh, okay, but is this something that I would want to do? Or is this something that I want to eat? Like just Rob told me about 2 damn weeks ago. He was like, why don't you try using yogurt for this recipe? And he's like, get some frozen berries, get some yogurt, some honey. And he already knows how I feel about yogurt. I don't like the texture. I fucking start gagging. But, I tried it, but I was like, this is something that I know I would never, like, who the fuck eats a fucking yogurt parfait? Apparently everybody on YouTube does, but I don't. And, like, I'm not gonna try to shimmy myself into having yogurt with nuts and berries. That's Rob. That's just Rob. He's one of those people that can not eat for 72 days, not hours, days, and be fine. I can't. I will be crawling to the refrigerator for something to eat. And mind you, I'm not crawling to the refrigerator to be like, I'm gonna have that parfait. Fuck no. I would rather eat the ice that covers the inside of my freezer. So no. But it is interesting to see how people live. What's a lot more fascinating is that it is rehearsed, it is practice, it is copy and paste, and it's all fake. It's a distraction. And I just want to know what their real voice sounds like. I want to see these people in real chaos. Like, will the Kardashian voices drop? Like, I want to hear some real emotion, real shrieking going on. I want to see how they really solve chaos problems. And I really want to know what the fuck they eat after showing themselves eating 1 or 2 bites of a fucking salad. Like, bitch, are you ordering pizza? Like, are you eating all the Cheese Whiz and are you blowing your ass out? Like, I kind of want to know. Like, that's real to me. Because then you would really know that, yeah, you are lactose intolerant. But it's beyond that, right? It's beyond that. That's more entertaining to me, not all of this other types of shit. Distractions. I'm gonna try to say this in a way, because I really don't want to drag this on for too long, because I'm actually pretty fucking hungry, and this topic is taking the energy out of me, but I have to talk about this. So we are gonna get into spirituality, and I want you guys to be open to this. Okay, you don't have to, if you feel like you gotta protect yourself from everything I'm saying, please do so. Okay, if you gotta pray about it, If you want to close yourself off, like, this bitch is, if you already made up your mind, like, oh, this bitch is crazy, I don't want to hear that bullshit. Just listen. Okay, just hear this out. However you want to look at this, I don't want to, question yourselves. I don't want you to question yourselves whether if you believe in demons or not. Okay, but I'm just going to say the word demons. Okay, demons are negative energy, negative moods, negative thoughts. They don't really have a form unless you give it form. Okay, unless you give it power. That's why I don't want you guys to question yourselves if you believe in demons or not, because if you believe in them, you're gonna call them to you. Or if you're just a shit person, you're probably one of them. Okay, but I came across a reel, and again, I've been saying this shit for years, okay? If you guys go to my earlier episodes of the Wine Run, you will hear me talk about this same shit. Same shit. Nothing new for me. I'm a pro. Okay? I'm telling you right now. Have a listen. But I came across this reel, and there was this guy. He was talking about, like, if you're addicted to porn or sex, my opinion, you're a fucking pervert. Okay, because that's a mood. That's a negative. You should have control of your penis. Okay, like, you should have full control of yourself, not just picking on men, but women too. Okay, but he was, I don't want to say targeted, but he was highlighting different things like, oh, if you're depressed, if you have anxiety, if you have, this, and this, they are distractions. And that's what inspired me to do this episode, because it is true. If, again, we are distracted by our own health. Okay, and I'm only bringing it back because it is a modern thing. We are distracting ourselves with ourselves. That's why I shared the thought that I had, like, oh, when if I have a blood clot going up to my fucking heart, like, am I strong enough or woke enough to go through and deal with those pains? Am I that strong of a person to do that? Yes, I am. It's going to be painful, but I've gone through so much. I don't want to say so much worse, but I've been through enough pain, and, pain that lingers to where Advil doesn't even help. I can't even take certain antibiotics because, or steroids, because it makes my blood sugar high. So I have no choice but to go through those things on my own. But if you know your strengths, and if you know your wills to get through things, just Rob would say prayer, faith, belief. He is right. But I want there to be more of it. And the modern way that I could bring it to you, again, for those that don't want to believe in nothing, it's your strength. If you want to bring it down to the modern feelings, can you take pain? And I know there's bitches out there like, oh, I have 5 fucking kids and, whatever, like, all childbirth, right? I personally don't think that I could do it. You know what I'm saying? But if you know your body's strengths and, self-control, like that guy said, like if you're just, if you're just out of control, you know, and you know it, that you need to correct those things, now's your fucking time to do that. You should. Because you are losing. You're losing if you don't. And if you're saying, like, oh, fuck what Adi says, or fuck what Just Rob says, okay, continue going on with your life. Only you know what you're hiding and running away from. And I did a cast about that the other day, and I put it in the wrong, I did a live on the wrong channel, but it is posted on x.com/Miss DJ Hoodie, or I forgot what it was called. You can't run away from yourself. You shouldn't anyway. And you all are the main ones doing it. You are running away from yourselves. But I believe that whatever bad shit that you guys do, it does come with a whip. And it's going to whoop your ass. It is. That's just how it works. And you shouldn't. Stop running. Correct yourself. That way nobody has anything to say. But I don't know what the fuck you guys are running away from. What demons you allowed into your life, and you're running away from them too. And they're going to catch up to you, and they're going to collect. It's owed to them. So who you want to pay back? Who do you want to pay back? Because you got to give something. And the cost of you holds no currency anymore. You're worth nothing. They don't want your ills. They don't want your muscle cramps. Like, they don't want none of that shit. Now they want your soul. Because we've already given them our attention, right? Because that's why we're distracted. They want you. They want your soul. So what the fuck are you gonna do? What do you got to give that's worth more than you? We gotta quit being distracted. And yes, that means taking better care of ourselves. And again, I'm gonna bring up the health things. And that's what I'm currently working on. I'm working on to do a lot better with my health, so that it's not so much of a distraction. It's now becoming a part of my routine that I hope and pray just becomes natural, because I've been so distracted with other things. Yes, my health was a distraction, but now I'm getting a better hang of it. I'm being a lot more mindful of it. I'm taking care of it. I'm facing it. Rob and I talked last night. When he and I are winding down at the end of our day, we do kick it and we do scroll and we do send each other reels. It's a beautiful time that I get to spend with my husband. I love that. Fucking love it. I could just do that all day. But in a modern way, or no, in a spiritual way, excuse me, it is a distraction. Because what we're doing at that very moment, it is modern. It's modern things that we're doing. And I'm not gonna share what we've been lacking. Yes, we have been lacking. But it's how we change it. It's how we do it, when we do it, the times that we do it. It's never ending. And I'm only sharing that part with you because people need to be told how to do it. You don't just say one thing and then go on and think that you're good. Because we've been doing that, all of us have been all doing that for so long that nobody knows how to break things down to the importance of the nuts and bolts. Now I know you guys heard me say that. When I say break things down to nuts and bolts, to my understanding, it's why break things down to nuts and bolts. What are you breaking down to nuts and bolts? What are the nuts and what are the bolts? Underline that, please. But as just Rob says, it's everybody's attention span. It's very, very short. But your lives should be more than what you see, what you jot down, and oh, I should or I gotta be that. If I want to be successful, I gotta do it like them. I gotta do it like this. I gotta do it with this much money. And all these people want to do is be looked at. I've been there before. So I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I still kind of want that. But I'm not going to jeopardize my spiritual focus for something that, yes, I've already had. Is it something that I want for myself? Yes, because I enjoyed it. It was the best times of my life. Fuck yeah, I want to go back and be that again if I could. But I have things in my life that do require 100% of my spiritual focus. I know what I need. And you should too. Quit being so fucking distracted. Stop it. Because you are not being your authentic self. People would rather be living their best lives than to be their authentic self. Isn't that a shame? It is. You don't even know who the fuck you are. You don't know. Because if I were to read any random person's lives from YouTube, you would say, oh yeah, that's me. No, bitch. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about this other person over here. So why are you lying? I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about someone else. You thought I was talking about you? That's how fucking delusional you are. Stop it. That's enough. Quit being distracted. Find out who you are and fix yourself. Quit posing. Quit lying. And that's all I got for you guys for tonight. Thank you, babe, for being here. And thank you all so much for pressing play and listening to this live if you are here on X. And don't forget to add, rate, comment, subscribe, follow, and share. And I will check you guys in the next Why Run podcast live on YouTube and or right back here on X. Peace.